And for the final time this week, we get to walk into the stories, the headlines, the big talking points in the papers across Nigeria. This is Freshly Pressed on the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. You are most welcome into a Friday installment. And like I said, for the final time this week, we'll be diving into the stories, the controversy, and everything in between. We get analysis, you already know. And of course, you get to share your own two kobo with us on the matter with its 2 cents. I don't know which you prefer, but you just share your perspective with us. That is the important thing. You can do that on WhatsApp. You can do that on YouTube as well. Keep up with us on the number 0911 999 0981. 0911 999 0981 is the WhatsApp number. So please leave your messages there. Concise messages, easy to read messages, please, so that I don't stumble like a horse that is falling downstairs. Thank you very, very much. Also, join us on YouTube if you like the audio visual and you like to see my two guests, one in front of a beautiful building, the other is in space as well. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos is the YouTube platform. And the two fine gentlemen in the persons of AB Bozimo and, of course, Joseph Obari. AB, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Joseph. You're looking pretty sporty, Ayo. I'm sure you have some nice things going on after being on air.
Oh,
Everyone,
definitely.
stay tuned. We should have a very interesting conversation this morning.
Oh, yes, indeed. Joseph, good morning to you. Great to have you back on the show.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Ebi. Good morning, listeners. It's another Friday. You can put in your thoughts. Those are appreciated, yeah.
Definitely. And I'm pretty sure that there will be a lot of thoughts on what we'll be talking about this morning. Joseph, I will start with you talking about issues concerning food. Now, this will be if I can put it, a kind of two parts. But let's start in the punch, first of all, where the federal government of Nigeria is actively pursuing a plan to stockpile its strategic food reserve to address food security concerns, stabilize prices, and also to ensure financial liquidity in the agricultural sector for farmers. The government said the gesture would enable farmers to go into all year round farming, especially during the dry season. I mean, if they're able to do that, that would be a very, very good thing. But when you talk about a plan to stockpile, it means that there's abundance, or it should mean there's abundance of food already. What do you think about this plan going forward?
Well, of course, the government, the perspective is that government has always had what they call strategic food reserve, where they mop up grains like maize, corn, beans, whatever, and they stock it in warehouses from where they can now release from time to time. Just an example was what happened during the what do you call it, COVID
Right.
period, where they were making interventions, giving out foodstuffs, which were hijacked and stolen by politicians anyway. So these things are always there. So when it depletes or when it's reduced, they try to ramp up more and stockpile as more of this as possible. It doesn't matter whether there is really surplus. What government tries to do is to buy as much as. The truth actually is that sometimes we get a lot of food wasted in Nigeria
Quite a lot.
because we don't have strategic storage for farmers. We don't have what to call it, cooling systems for most farmers. So things just perish because the farmers can't keep them over a longer period of time. And this is why we need to see government investing more in large scale process handling of these things. Like you should be able to have dryers. Farmers should be access this thing. They can just go there and dry their crops with at less price or no price at all. Those are the kind of incentives we want so that we will not be recording more losses in food production. Our farmers lose quite a lot. If you've ever been to Benue, for example, and you find the volume of fruits, vegetables, and so on are wasted because the farmers can't handle beyond a certain limit, whatever they are able to harvest. Yeah, we could have even had more if not for the insecurity in the country. I'm sure a lot of farmers who have been kicked out of farms, it's just simply that they have lost. But Most farmers don't have any choice. They just have to find a way to farm in one form or the other because they don't have any other thing they can do. So despite the insecurity, people still try to find a way to farm and so on. And more people are going to agriculture. That's the truth. More people are going to agriculture. Now there is awareness. I attended an exhibition recently in Abuja, and I was amazed at the number of women who are into food processing, small-scale food processing, and so preservation, packaging, and all that. It just tells you that there's more awareness. And if the government can do a little more to incentivize people to be able to, get into these things, take the cost off them, then we can have a lot more active agricultural sector.
Joseph, before we leave this particular story, I mean, looking at what you just said, the fact that a lot of people are going into agriculture right now, which some would consider as being ironic, bearing in mind the myriad of issues that are being faced in that sector. I mean, what does that say about the potential of Nigeria to be an agricultural giant if all the stars align and all the ducks are in a row?
It's our strongest strength. Really, let's forget about oil and so on, which has made us lazy. The truth is that if we really are honest, Nigeria should be feeding the whole of West Africa, if not greater part of Africa. But we have not been strategic in managing agriculture. For a greater part, we all relied on revenue from oil. Everybody sat down on their hands and the money was being shared and so on. So this administration is changing the dynamics a bit and making states to realize that we cannot continue to just sit down on our hands. So states need to do more. States should invest in agriculture. Local governments should be involved. What are they doing with the money? So these are the areas where we should be seeing more activities and involvement of people, projects, and NGOs who are there to support. The World Bank is supporting agriculture aggressively. So there's a whole lot. If we work, if we harness this potential, we will reap so much. We're not even talking about the value chain of agriculture, like processing, food processing, export, and so on. It's enormous. It's a big strength Nigeria has. We have the landmass, we have the people, but the connection is always the leadership that will bring all the parts together and produce results. And even when they come up with programs, they're not sincere about them. If politicians are not benefiting from them, they don't see the value in it.
Right.
So that sincerity of purpose is what is lacking in all of our projects and policies.
It's rather unfortunate. Right, Amy, you're going to say something concerning this.
To add to what Joseph has excellently summarized, Nigeria, at roughly 1 million square kilometers, has about 60-something% arable land. The country is strewn with rivers cutting across everywhere. On a good day, Nigeria should be indeed feeding not just West Africa, but Africa and further afield. But like we say, we have rain, we have predictable seasons. There's rain, there's dry. It's just refusal to apply ourselves and add engineering to it, because the value chain is enormous. You're talking about logistics, you're talking about transportation, you're talking about marketing, you're talking about, preservation and so many things that can employ people in a meaningful way. So it's like a low-hanging fruit that we have refused to pluck because there's always another barrel of oil to be wasted. Oil is bad. If you used it as the capital to use, to acquire and develop equipment, would be perfect.
All right, thank you for sharing that, AB. I would actually love to hear from the farmers out there, those who are in the agricultural sector, firsthand, your experiences and what it's been like and what it's looking like. Once again, the WhatsApp number is 0911-999-0981. Leave your comments on YouTube as well. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, AB, I am coming to your table with this one. And this is a story that I wish we didn't have to actually take, but it's been on the front burner for most of the week and last week as well.
As you're coming to my table, be gentle. Don't come in a certain way, as a certain president said. Okay,
don't break any tables, Ayo.
No, don't worry. I'll be as gentle as I can. Well, we're stepping back, or we're staying in the punch for this one, where President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to defeating terrorism and strengthening diplomatic ties with Nigeria's global partners. Now, he said, and I'm quoting here, "We are engaging the world diplomatically, and we assure all of you that we will defeat terrorism. The task ahead is to move forward with clarity of purpose, guided by the renewed hope agenda to build a prosperous Nigeria." End of quote. Okay, so AB, this is still part of the fallout of the declaration that was made by President Donald Trump, and all the moving helter skelter and so on and so forth. But at this point in time, there's a lot of rhetoric being spread around there, a lot of sound bites and so on and so forth. Is this not the golden opportunity to actually put in some action? Let's leave the words. At this point in time, in this case, shouldn't action be the only answer to all the questions on the ground?
That's exactly where I was going to start. First of all, I'll start on a lighter note. One of the fun Nigerians don't ever disappoint me. The funniest meme I've been seeing is where President Donald Trump is apparently pointing at the map of Nigeria, and anybody is saying, "I beg, don't point there, point somewhere else, because maybe in Ibadan." Also, when you're coming to deal with terrorists, deal with Ibadan land agents. There's so many funny things coming out of this thing, just to lighten the mood, because, like you say, Ayo, this matter is extremely serious. And even a broken clock is right twice a day. You might not necessarily take to Donald Trump's style, his motivation. Don't forget, he was shellacked a couple of days ago in the US during elections. Some would say he raised this thing so that he can distract. Whatever your case is, Nigerians are being murdered. On a lighter note too, it's almost as they are finally recharged the Nigerian Army Twitter account with it, because suddenly, every 2 or 4 hours, they're announcing achievements. In fairness,
Are you there, AB?
No,
Oh
I
dear.
think its network is
the Nigerian
frozen.
Army has been doing a lot
Okay,
in the
he's back.
past few weeks and months. It shocks me in this story that the Federal Executive Committee meeting has held. July, August, September, October. Now, seemingly because of this issue, the president is holding an FEC meeting. Say what you will about many past presidents. That FEC meeting, even if it wasn't yielding anything, was a staple on their calendar. So why is it suddenly that the president now feels bothered enough to go and sit in the FEC and then come up with these flowery words we're trying to defeat with? All that is words, is verbiage, is word salad. It's useless if it's not backed with terrorists being terrorized and terminated. I don't care what the president says. The people who are killed daily, weekly, monthly, parts of the world, of this country, don't care also. They can't care anymore. So he's talking about how the oversubscription of the $2.3 billion Euro bond. Do you know something? Chaos also attracts attention. Have you ever seen a car accident on the road and how people stop to look? So don't boast because the Euro bond is oversubscribed. If you see a chaotic scene, you also pay attention. I'm not saying that the Euro bond is not a positive thing, but that is not what anybody should care about at this time. And what's the worst thing is that there are so many government officials who are gaslighting themselves because they're not fooling anybody who has 2 brain cells to rub. The president of the US said he is going to take on terrorists. Another thing that's also positive out of this is that the army has started calling terrorists. Before they will call headsmen, disaffected people, unhappy mother. Now they're calling terrorists. So kudos to that extent for the Nigerian army. President Bola Tinubu, stop talking, start acting. In fairness, one of the reasons for in renewed urgency is that before President Trump said it, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself changed the leadership of the army. You could also say that this renewed sense is because the new people in the army are already getting busy. So I'm not saying it's all good or all bad. All I'm saying is that, first of all, to be neglecting a fundamental meeting at the federal executive, I don't understand. Now, is he acting because of this? Fine. Don't talk. Do. when it's like the first story, the federal government is thinking of imagining to follow a plan for agriculture. Just do it, for goodness sake. Why are we talking about it?
Do it and come and tell
do
us.
it and report on it. I mean, then President Bola Tinubu is telling me, and we are engaging to defeat terrorism, and words of someone like Donald Trump will have no meaning in that direct context.
All right.
But so I just feel the talk is cheap. Get busy.
So my contribution is that you see, on all fronts, the government has been caught napping, and this whole thing has exposed their ineptitude completely as far as managing the insecurity in Nigeria is concerned. The president talks about engaging in world economic diplomatically. And for over 2 years, he couldn't appoint ambassadors. As strategic a country as the United
That's
States,
another thing. Suddenly,
we didn't have any ambassador all of a sudden, because one president tweeted. Then he wakes up and then he has to think about, oh, we're not going to appoint ambassadors and so on. So people will look at you and wonder, when you begin to talk, oh, I'm going to engage the world diplomatically. Where have you been all this while? Diplomatically engaging. You are just you was a shuttle diplomacy, jumping from one country to the other by yourself. You replaced all the ambassadors and became your ambassador yourself, traveling around the world. So strategic engagement of the United States government had failed for these past 2 years. There was nobody was representing Nigeria. If you have a mission in the United States that is not headed by anybody, so there's a limit. The people who are working in the embassies can go. There is a limit, because the ambassador, when they get letters of credence and visit the president of the country where he's assigned, he gives a kind of aura. It has an aura about it. But it's been lacking. And just because now some issues come up, you want to engage the world. At least, let us see it happen.
Before you talk.
All right, Joseph, let's head into the vanguard and head over to Anambra State. Of course, elections are on the horizon, and the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the newly appointed chairman, Professor Joash Amokwito, on Thursday, expressed deep concerns over what he described as Anambra State's long-standing pattern of voter apathy, warning that it poses a grave threat to the state's democratic progress and the credibility of Saturday's governorship election. Now, he just resumed office very recently. He's been thrust straight into the lion's den here, if I can put it that way, with elections coming up. He's talked about voter apathy. Now, these particular elections here are going to be, should I say, a testament to what actually is to come in future elections and all that. How key is it that the INEC chairman and INEC get this election very correctly? Because as he talked about voter apathy, it's not just an Anambra thing, it's a Nigerian thing.
Yeah, I feel for him because he's just been thrust into this, just as you said. And it's not really fair that he has to be judged on whatever happened in Anambra State, because whatever has been done wrong in that place is going to manifest now. If there have been records of persistent voter apathy from 25% dropping to 20 to 10, down up to 10% at the last election, then what has INEC done to reverse that before this man came on? So if they have not done much to change that narrative, it is going to manifest as very terrible outcome. And there'll be little you can do about it, because he hasn't had enough time to work on his people to ensure that they can change that narrative. So that's why I say I pity him, because if the work has not been done, it's going to manifest again as low turnout. I know. Now, if we can drop from 25% of 2 million people to 10 to 20 people to 20%, then right down to 10.2% in the last in the 2021, for example, it shows that something is seriously wrong somewhere. So when we do, the INEC has a department that is involved in voter education and all that. What do they really do? But I don't really blame them much, because the deeper issues that lead to apathy in Nigeria are stronger than simply just coming out to vote. There is a trust deficit between the citizen and the government. Nigerians don't trust any Nigerian government and whatever they are doing. So that's a serious issue. And tackling it will go beyond just INEC itself, because some of the issues that make people feel disinterested in our democracy is beyond just INEC itself, even though it has its own faults and so on, which I think a new leadership such as this may be able to address. But the deeper national issues that hurt the feeling of citizens may not be solved by INEC, you know. So until we overhaul the system in a very holistic manner, we are not going to have the result we desire. And Anambra, we're all watching and trying to see what goes on in this election in particular, because the test is actually on INEC and its people, not just the chairman. The chairman has just come. So it is a test to prove how those on ground in INEC have been able to hold the structure, and they know what to do to deliver the positive results for this election.
All right, thank you for that, Joseph. Maybe.
The issue of the trust deficit in INEC is particularly galling, because at the dawn of the last election, prior to that, INEC made so many promises and pronouncements that it galvanized an entire nation to go into the elections in mode of interested stakeholders. Unfortunately, I will say this till I'm blue in the face. No matter who was pronounced the winner of the election of 2023, if INEC had carried out all it said it would do, you would have had no argument from anybody. INEC lost deliberately a major opportunity to improve elections in Nigeria under the former leader of INEC. I'm not sorry for the new one. He knew the job he's getting into. And the first pronouncement he made was, if I am allowed to probe, that showed me he's not battle ready. He's there as an appointee. There is not a smidgen of independence in him. And so I will say this right now. I will eat my heart on air if he proves me wrong. I have zero sense of belief, trust, or credibility in him. But I'll be happy to eat my heart spiced if he can show me that he is indeed.
Please invite somebody us to the dinner.
It'll be on air, don't worry. So it's, you know, I'm being facetious here, but the point is, INEC dropped the ball and disappointed Nigeria and Nigerians.
Well, AB, if you're going to marinate that hat, I can point you in the direction of someone who supplies really good spices. So we'll hold you.
Don't worry.
We'll hold you to that one.
Is INEC that I'm happy I've not eaten this hat. I'm confident.
Oh my goodness! All right, AB. On a much lighter note, let's step into the vanguard. Well, lighter depending on where you are sitting, actually, and of course, Dirty December is around the corner, and government is getting involved in this one. Well, the Federal Executive Council (FEC) on Thursday proposed the creation of a presidential task force on Dirty December. Now, Minister of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents at the end of the council meeting presided over by President Tinubu at the council chamber in the presidential villa out there in Abuja. I don't want to talk too much in AB because I'm in a Dirty December mood, but you can give us some insight into what's going on here.
Dirty December is 6 or 7 weeks away. Take note. Listen, Dirty December was an organic creation. People got ideas, you know, promoters did different things. And indeed, there were arguably very successful events that happened last year, at least. That was when this vibe, Decembering has always been an interesting thing around Nigeria. In the East, people go, Lagos, people come. But that December took on a certain aura or persona last year, that was pretty, successful. Though there were some, dark sides, people defrauding people, but let's say overall. And suddenly, just like when Nollywood took movies internationally, government that has no hand in it is now saying, oh, well, look at the part of the story. It said, we have the National Council for Arts and Culture, which curates festivals and cultural events across all 36 states from January to December. I ask you, listener, which festival and cultural event has your National Council for Arts and Culture done in your lifetime? Before now. So people get together, people who are hosts, people who are promoters, people who are visitors, they get together and create an ecosystem of interest and excitement. And government now wants to come in and wants to somehow, please, government, stay away. You have a role to do. Make your airports friendly. Stop having people begging people for anything for the boys at the airport. Put security cameras there that can pick voice at a distance so that people know that they are being watched. Make the roads safe, make street lights, get out of the December. Now, of course, when services and all that are being exchanged, you will get your tax, you will get your revenue, but don't come in with one stuffy top-down approach that nobody sent you to do. So Lagosians, watch out. Your former Dirty December may now have one grandfatherly outlook where you have to do this, you don't have to do that. Nobody sent government. Dirty December has evolved and will continue evolving and does not need, let the government, if it's so, go and improve the one in 35 other states so that we know you have, Dirty December people have shown working. Let the National Council for the Arts go and show working elsewhere. Then come back and make Dirty December. Not start where success has already been recorded and they want to just ride the wave. And they're not sending that. Leave Dirty December alone. It is a brand, it is happening live. Other people should emulate it. At least the Calabar Festival too is something that people go to at Christmas. Correct. Everybody do your own. Government, get your hands busy how you can do it. Add value at the back, but don't be the face of December. Nobody's sending that.
No, I mean, there is always the dark side of these things, and it's sad. The truth simply is that our politicians and government officials are opportunistic.
Of course.
There is no better way you can steal money than simply buying into a dirty December. Because then the government can dole out money, hundreds or maybe $1 billion to gifts or some people to go and spend in dirty December. So it creates an avenue for money to be siphoned. That's all. That's why government gets involved. So
I concur, because I don't, again, back to the trust deficit. I don't believe government has a good mind when they are talking of December. It is what can they do to make things worse? As far as I'm concerned, hey, I stand to be corrected, but that is my perspective.
Alrighty, let me take your messages. Man, the way time flies, it needs to be studied somewhere. This is from Fumbi, who says, seriously, we've heard a lot of long talk on agriculture. It can build the nation. But to be sincere with you, Mr. President is trying, but governors are not trying at all. A lot of tractors are somewhere in a warehouse that need to be used by us as farmers, but it always is politically distributed. I believe Fumbi is in the agricultural sector, so I guess he or she knows. Yes, he or she knows what he or she is talking about. I can't tell whether Fumbi is, he or she, but Fumbi, thank you so much for that message. See, these are the issues. The state governors, local governments, always dropping the ball.
And to be honest, it is at the state and local government level that agriculture will thrive. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot and should not get directly involved in agriculture. What are the governors doing with this increased revenues that they have? What are local governments newly freed as independent whatevers doing? So the president should face Trump and co. Let state governors and local government chairmen do this agriculture thing.
All right, this is from Gilbert Musa in Festac, who says, on the Presidential Task Force on Dirty December, first things first, if the average Nigerian's disposable income is improved, there will be no need for any committee or task force organization. Let our economy be productive, and the average citizen will and can afford to spend without paying. Udoji Awards of 1974, where civil servant salary was enhanced, comes to mind. I love Gilbert's messages. He always gives us that that OG perspective.
Yeah.
Context.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Gilbert. And please keep on being you. Very important. Joseph Munier in Silver State says, good morning, freshly pressed, my ever vibrant presenter Ayo and analysts AB and Joseph. Is there any reason why government from the local to federal level to support cannot support farmers with silos, security, equipment, logistics, and so on? Because it's a money spinner if sincerely and genuinely harnessed. Also, the government should stop cosmetic approach and pushing propaganda everywhere. The bitter truth is that some elites, politicians, and supporters are really benefiting from all this insecurity because since the threat is only dialogue with allies that is on their table, they are quick to stop protesters within a twinkle of an eye, but the sponsors and actors of the alleged coup plotters are being investigated, but inflation, drowning economy, and so on is not their concern. This is Tayo who says, federal government, after Egmont Donald tweeted, they are showing working before it was cho. It is time for the new INEC chairman to work with the tools he has in Anambra. Dirty December task force, IGGB are complaining that they get affordable shortlets, that they should get affordable shortlets for the period, but it's regulation that is important. Don't disturb the small fun that we are enjoying. This is from Don Kelvin, who says, unfortunately, the Nigerian army is still dealing propaganda. All they've posted so far on their X handle has been tracked as blasts from the past, a rerun of previous operations rather than something recent. And then the Anambra election will actually not prove anything, as it will be used to deceive Nigerians into trusting INEC for the, he says, for the coup they will pull in 2027. Let's use our words very carefully, Don Kelvin, because I don't know which coup you're referring to. We're dealing with an alleged one right now, and that is a serious matter on the ground. Tony Imarimbi says, we've come to a point where you make a withdrawal from the ATM and you count the cash to be sure it's complete. The trust deficit in this country is now at an epidemic level. You hear open, shameless lies from government and the officials daily, and you expect the citizens to trust government for anything that the government puts its hand into? Even the strongest truth from government can only be taken with a pinch of salt right now in order to avoid unnecessary hypertension. I just wondered where we can start all over from to repair the damage in this regard. On agriculture, the fact is that the government realizes that the day food gets on the table of every Nigerian citizen, their independence has come. Deep words there. Ajayi Olonilowa coming through from Magodo Jerry Sherry. Good morning to you, Ajayi. He says the only way Nigeria can defeat the terrorists and avoid Trump's intervention is for the government to also review the activities of Mieti Allah and the implementation of Sharia law in the north. The Mieti Allah and the Fulani herdsmen are one and the same, and Sharia law has been used in the north to victimize non-Muslims. Is there extensive evidences of that? I would actually love to see. I mean, I've heard stories, but sometimes you really need to see it directly like that. Cisco Delgado, good morning to you. Great to have you as always. And this is Tino who says, Brother Festus has added his own tax for Dirty December. Sure, this government. Well, it is what it is. This is where we are at this point in time. Let me go to YouTube. This is T-Boss who says, good morning, Ayo, AB, and Joseph. Trust is a solemn issue, and this government hasn't done anything to gain it from the populace. And Emeka says, the federal government have not finished facing Trump and NARD matter. They are busy talking about Dirty December.
December. Honestly.
I guess they want to walk and chew gum at the same time. They can multitask. So I guess that's what it is. But anyways, we need to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for all your messages. And we always love reading from you. Thank you so much to you, Joseph and AB, for making it an amazing Friday morning as we get into the weekend. AB.
Thank you. It's 3 weeks to the D of dirty. So let's make sure that people arrange themselves. Let's reduce the negatives and actually enjoy the positives. Bad. We've reached this stage of the year. Let's pray for guidance, health, and well-being for the rest of the year. And let our government officials meet as scheduled. You can't be taking a sabbatical of FEC meetings, Mr. President. Waiting.
All right, Joseph, wrap it up for us.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are at this very frantic moment in our national history, and we are all watching to see how it's going to pan out. We hope that eventually we are able to convince the world that we're serious by our actions and not by what we are saying.
Mm,
So that is what is the key thing here. It's for us to prove to the world that we are serious and we are honest about what we are doing, because a lot has gone wrong in the country, and even the citizens don't have trust in their government, not to talk about all the other countries. And when Nigerians speak, the government doesn't take it all serious. I mean, now it's obvious that all that we have been saying matters, and our politicians should pay attention, very keen attention, to what Nigerians feel and what they are saying.
very
On that,
correct.
I
Thank
wish everybody a wonderful weekend. You, Ayo, Saivi, and the listeners, everybody, wonderful weekend. Bye.
Yes, indeed. Wonderful weekend to you as well. Thank you so much once again. Let's keep you tuned to the Smooth Breakfast here on Smooth 98.1, 8:15. It's all about a recap of what went down in Europe in the locker room and what to look forward to this weekend. My name is Ayokunmi. Thanks for staying with us.
Bye.